Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are opening a really serious file. It's excerpts from a document called Operation Aurora 2026 Cartography of the New World and Rebirth Manual. And we're treating this as an urgent security briefing, looking at the source material for, tactical intelligence.
That's precisely. And before we really get into, let's be absolutely clear. This isn't the kind of soft, feel-good astrology you'd read in a magazine. We are rejecting that completely. Planets are not just these vague influences. They are precision timekeepers. They define major shifts in history. This document is actionable intelligence.
Okay, so let's start with the big question, the one everyone's asking. Why 2026? Is this just, hype? Or is the data, the actual celestial mechanics, concrete?
The data is concrete, and it all centers on one spectacular celestial coordinate. Our mission here really is to armor you, to prepare you for the chaos that comes when an old system refuses to die. We're talking about a great bifurcation, two timelines essentially, the assimilated versus the ascended. And 2026, it signals a birth. And any birth, well, it involves pain, trauma, blood. It's the break from the old world.
Let's ground that right away. Let's look at the diagnosis in phase 1 of this document. It just captures the mood so perfectly. The quote is, "The only thing I'm clear about is that I am clear about nothing." That feeling of fatigue, that sense that nothing solid holds up anymore.
Yeah, and that feeling, that collective confusion, it isn't random. It has a precise location on the map of time. It's called the anaretic degree, specifically 29 degrees Pisces.
Okay, hold on. Before we get into the metaphor, break that down for us. What does anaretic degree actually mean?
It's simple, really. It's the last degree of any sign, the 29th degree. But this is 29 degrees Pisces, the very last degree of the entire zodiacal wheel. Think of it like a cosmic drain. The entire Piscean Age, 2,000 years of history, belief, debt. It's all trying to empty out through this one tiny point.
So when I feel like my identity, my career, my whole belief system is just turning to liquid in my hands, that's not just me failing. It's a symptom of this massive cyclical flushing out.
Exactly. Trying to build something rigid right now, a 5-year plan based on old rules. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a raging sea. It's futile. And that's the whole point of the fog.
Right. So the fog isn't there to make us get lost. It's a strategic maneuver.
It forces you to drop the steering wheel of reason. We're so used to navigating with our eyes, with external maps. But when visibility drops to zero, you have no choice. You have to rely on your internal compass, your intuition, a faculty that has been seriously, seriously atrophied.
And that brings us to this powerful metaphor in the document, the mother bird, or the nest and the thorns.
Yes. We get comfortable in the nest, right? The familiar world. But then the mother bird, the universe, starts pulling out the soft feathers. And suddenly you're feeling the dry twigs, the splinters, the crisis, the discomfort. That's not a punishment. It's an act of evolutionary love. It's life telling you your wings are bigger than this nest now. You have to jump.
And that jump, that push toward radical autonomy, it leads us right to the central coordinate, phase 2, the milestone.
Right. Zero date.
So what is it? Let's get it on the table.
February 20, 2026.
And what happens on that date that makes it, a cosmic DEFCON 1 situation?
It's the exact conjunction of two titans of the solar system. You have Saturn, the architect, structure, law, and you have Neptune, the mystic, dissolution, the dream. And they meet at the most critical point possible, the 0 degree of Aries.
Which is the vernal point, the absolute beginning, the Big Bang of the zodiac.
Exactly. Now, these conjunctions happen every 36 years or so, but the location is a singularity. Hitting at 0 Aries means this isn't an update. It's not a reform. The source calls it a format C, a complete wipe of civilization's hard drive.
Wait. A complete wipe of civilization's hard drive. That's
right.
That's extreme. What does that mean in practical terms? Does the power grid fail? Are we talking about governments collapsing?
It means the fundamental operating system we've been running on, hierarchy, fiat currency, secrets, borders, it becomes obsolete. Instantly. So it's not that a building will fall down necessarily, but the institution that building represents can no longer function. The world clock gets reset to 0.
So what's the new currency then? The document talks about an alchemical wedding. Stone, water, and fire.
Right. Saturn is stone, Neptune is water, Aries is fire. You're fusing them. It means the separation between the pragmatic and the spiritual is over. The dream must have a structure. The structure must have a soul. And this creates a new kind of person, a new leader. The practical mystic, the dreamer who can build a cathedral.
And the numerology confirms this. 2026 breaks down to the number 1.
Precisely. We're entering year 1, the magician. It's pure, penetrating energy. It breaks the void. The universe is basically handing you a blank page and saying, the old story is over, write a new one.
This is where that high-voltage feeling comes in, the biology of trauma. We're moving from the Piscean womb, you know, water, safety, no real self, to the air of Aries, to radical freedom.
And the walls of that womb, the known world, they're closing in. What's paradise is becoming a tomb. But the real trauma is the first breath. A baby's lungs have only known fluid. Then they're hit with pure oxygen. The nervous system registers it as burning, searing, fire.
So that anxiety people are feeling, the tachycardia, the feeling of going way too fast, that's not a symptom of being sick.
No. It is the symptom that your spiritual lungs are expanding for the first time. You've been breathing through a collective cord, and that cord has been cut. The pure air of this new era of self-sovereignty, it burns. Because real freedom is a very high voltage for a system used to comfortable slavery. The only instruction is to inhale. Let it burn.
And to do that, you have to let go of the past. The document is brutal about this. It calls nostalgia energetic suicide.
It's the story of Lot's wife. She looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Salt is the residue of the sea, right? The Piscean Ocean. It's what's left when the water is gone. You cannot go back to breathing amniotic fluid once you're out in the air. What gave you life would now kill you. Zero Aries demands a radical, savage presence in the NOW.
Okay, let's get tactical. Phase 3, the operational roadmap. How do we navigate this temporal roller coaster? What's the plan for early 2026?
First up, Jan-Feb is basement cleaning. Do not launch anything huge. This is for intensive internal work, therapy. Closing old griefs. You have to empty the backpack before you try to cross this new threshold.
Then March, there's a lunar eclipse. What's the focus?
Physical purification. The body has to update its hardware for the new voltage, so you might experience, sudden fevers, detoxes, a need to change your diet. Listen to your body. It's getting ready.
Then we hit April. The document called it the month of velocity. This is when Uranus enters Gemini for good. What does that feel like?
It's the quantum mind and the AI era kicking into hyperdrive. The fire of Aries is fanned by the air of Gemini. The speed of information, of change, it's going to be blinding. The real danger here is mental short circuit, full dissociation from reality.
And the defense for that, the A.R.K. shielding.
You have to anchor in earth. This is non-negotiable. Walk barefoot, lift weights, garden, touch trees. If you live only in your head on screens, Uranus and Gemini will fire your nervous system. You'll become a digital zombie.
That intensity gives way to some expansion in the summer, though. June to August, Jupiter enters Leo.
Yes, the feast of the heart. Jupiter expands. Leo is creative identity. The universe basically puts a spotlight on you and says, show us what you've got. Launch the project. This is the time to lead with purpose. Imposter syndrome is, by cosmic law, prohibited.
Let's move to personalized intelligence, phase 4. How does this artillery fire, as you call it, hit people individually? You focus on the red list.
We have to. Some signs are at the absolute epicenter of this.
First up, Aquarius. Pluto is there for the next 20 years.
For Aquarius, this is a nuclear-level identity crisis. The old self, the theoretical rebel, or the detached humanitarian, it's being pulverized. The mission is to stop analyzing the system and actually step into the fire, become a real leader, not just an observer.
And Taurus, the matter crisis. This sounds terrifying for them.
It is. The whole system is screaming at them to let go of material security. They'll feel this visceral terror of losing everything: money, property, status. Their mission is to redefine wealth. Security isn't in a bank account, it's in your talent, it's in your skills.
What's the primary trap for them?
Attachment. Clinging to old fixed assets, the document warns it will burn your hands to the bone. They have to let it go.
So we need new tools to handle this. Phase 5, psychological protocols. Let's start with Protocol A.
Protocol A, management of the void. We are dopamine junkies, all of us, using our phones, any noise, as a digital pacifier to avoid feeling anxious or bored. The order is severe. If you plug the void, you abort the future.
Explain that. That's a huge statement.
Your brilliance, your next great idea, the solution you're looking for, is only born in radical boredom, in the silence. If you constantly fill that void with external noise, you never create the vacuum for the new thing to be pulled in. You have to sit with your discomfort.
Protocol B is my favorite, the praise of clumsiness.
Because we're all terrified of looking stupid, right? This demand for perfection leads to paralysis. The order for 2026 is embrace your clumsiness. An imperfect, messy action is infinitely better than perfect inaction. Clumsiness is the only proof you're actually learning something new. It's a badge of honor.
And finally, Protocol C, sovereignty. This is about the end of the age of Pisces, the age of gurus and saviors.
Exactly. Aries is about self-leadership, but you need an internal framework for that. This is why the text mentions things like the tree of life, not as some cheap mysticism, but as the actual engineering blueprint for your own mind. It's the tool you use to fix your own short circuits.
This brings us to the final and maybe most important question. Faced with all this chaos, all this responsibility,
Yeah.
are we alone in this? Is this whole thing just an accident with no safety net?
The counterintelligence on that is written in sacred geometry, and the answer is a resounding NO. In late 2026, the planets form what's called a grand cosmic sextile, a perfect Star of David. It's a hexagon of perfect harmony between all the major players: Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune.
So this confirms it. This isn't a random explosion. This is a controlled demolition.
Correct. The cosmic scaffold is already built. It's indestructible, even as the human one collapses. The Titans are collaborating. The pain we're all feeling now was calibrated just enough so that you would finally let go of what was keeping you small.
So we're not falling into an abyss.
Yeah.
We're falling into a new structure, a net that's already there.
It's a transpersonal safety net, and you are not here just to survive 2026. You're here to be the midwife of this new world. The master's throne has been empty because it was reserved for you. Stop looking for a father, for a guru. Look in the mirror.
So what's the final takeaway for the person listening to this right now?
The chaos you see outside is just the noise of old shells breaking. What's being born inside of you is a star. And all that is required now is the courage to light the torch you came here to carry. Don't just watch the show. Take this intelligence and build your arc.